Oh, hi there, listening. Thank you. That's not how you say that. Hey, thanks for listening to Podcast is Broken. And we're coming to you from all four corners of the world for this episode. And I can't believe it's been a week already. It's been phenomenal. And so many things happened. It was crazy. My name is Brittlestar, not really. And?
I'm Steve Boots, also not really.
I'm Lisa B0923, really.
Wow, that's transparency.
It's quite a family name.
Right? I want you guys to realize that this shirt that I'm wearing, this is my shirt, but this shirt has spent more time in the UK than I have in the past year and a half. So there you go. I left it here last time I was here, and the people who run the Airbnb we were in, they kept it for me and then dropped it off at my sister-in-law's place. So that's nice, right?
Is this an elaborate citizenship anchoring program plan?
It's kind of like having a baby in a country, exactly. If you leave your shirt long enough, you get automatic citizenship. So, but I'm already a British citizen.
I was going to say, I was hoping it was your shirt and you didn't take it off of somebody else, but
no, I know. I think if the listeners of the last episode, even though I may be the man, I'm not that kind of the man. Totally different.
You're the man.
That's how shirt distribution works in England, though. You just fight another person, and there's just one shirt being distributed.
Well, that's for the NSH. No, and it's National Shirt, NSS, and National Shirt Service, which is public. And then there's private, of course, as well, where you can get the nicest
and there's
shirt.
The National Shirt Trust, which is another thing
National
entirely.
Shirt Trust, another thing entirely. It's a navigation. It's like navigating a minefield. You never know where you're going to end up.
This is a very niche conversation. We have to think of our other people around the world.
We got to think about the people in Australia, because now we've broken the top 120. I'm just hopefully saying that. So we thought we'd talk today about our weird social media lives, and it kind of was spawned initially because Steve, you had said, relationship with the camera and all that kind of stuff, but it goes beyond that. Of course, it goes into like social media weirdness because you have like a weird level of notoriety or a celebrity, and it's just bizarre. So how do we want to start this conversation?
Yeah, it's the life of a niche internet micro celebrity is very strange, but I think the thing that prompted this.
You've got to have more self-esteem than that. The life of a niche micro celebrity.
Niche internet micro celebrity is my preferred term.
You've got a damn sign. You've got a Steve Boots sign.
I know.
It was a gift from my wife.
That's so...
But the reason why I wanted to talk about this was because I was watching Adam Savage's Tested YouTube channel, and he brought up the conversation of how everyone has a different relationship to the camera. And so I thought I would pose it to you guys. What is your relationship to the camera? Because as people who do social media, like more than nearly any other line of work, you're on camera. Like a lot of that time is on camera, not necessarily prepping, all that stuff. Just actually physically on screen a lot. So what is your relationship to the camera?
I don't know. Do you want to start, Lisa?
It's a means to an end. I don't know. Like, it's weird. I don't like when I started the whole TikTok thing, like, we all start with 0 followers, right? So it's like, whatever. Is there anybody listening? I didn't know.
Right.
But I still kind of think and believe that I'm talking to the same like 4 people that I was talking to when I first started. And we see the numbers grow and that it's a weird phenomenon to me that people outside of my circle may potentially know who I am. So I try not to think about it a lot until it kind of slaps you in the face. Like if you're out and about and someone comes up to you and it's like, I just love your TikToks. And it's like, I'm really awkward. So
it's weird.
That's my relationship. It doesn't exist until it does.
You guys have frozen, so I may be talking over you, but it doesn't matter because what I have to say is really important.
The man.
The man. But it's interesting because I think it's easy to dismiss the effect that you have doing this. In the sense, it's like one of the first rules of radio broadcasting is that you're speaking to one person. Like you're not talking to a whole bunch of people. Obviously, that changes in social media and on YouTube and stuff where people are saying, hey, guys, and all that kind of stuff. But because it's just usually you and your camera or your phone, it's easy to forget that there's other people. And I remember very vividly the very first time I went to, because I started on Vine, and the very first time going to the Vine meetup in Toronto, and there being a bunch of people who knew who I was, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, who? I guess there's actual people watching this, even though I knew the numbers. Seeing the actual people was shocking to me in general. But it's, I mean, I've got a massive ego. I love it so much, though.
Yeah, the numbers thing is so funny to me because, like, I don't know, the numbers are so fickle. If you get yourself wrapped up in them, then it can get in your head quickly. For me, it's 100%. I just focus entirely on making content I like. I was frustrated by the lack of anything even vaguely resembling like a Canadian like Daily Show or satirical commentary like that. Like there was 22 minutes, but that's more kind of skits for the most part.
Absolutely.
And like there's comedians and stuff, but there's a huge shortage of it. And so it came from that. It came from there wasn't a thing being made that I wanted to see made. And so my relationship with the camera, I think it's similar to yours, Lisa, that it's like very utilitarian. Like I'm not like, oh, I want to be a star.
So what's propelling Lisa?
That was the jazz hands of stardom.
Well, I didn't think that. No, I wasn't suggesting.
Well, I was holding coffee
hands
with the other one, so it was jazz hand.
Right, jazz hand. I wasn't suggesting that she was propelling herself through life by using jazz hands, but I like that idea too. I gotta get a drink.
I'm going to now. Just.
I'm back.
Yeah.
It's an odd situation though, because I remember, like, back in the day, like when I would start getting recognized and stuff, there's so many weird, because you don't know which way is exactly as you said. Steve, is like, I started making stuff because I thought, that I would like to see that, and maybe I'll make that. If no one's making it, I'll make it. That sounds great. And that is it's a weird way to start because you don't know exactly what you're aiming at. You're kind of like just kind of flitting through the process and throwing things out there. And you're right, you can't get hung up on the numbers, because one of the big things about the numbers is that you'll look for a pattern in those numbers, and there's no pattern in the numbers at all. You're at the mercy of so many things. I always tell people who are asking for, advice on how to make social media a career, and it's like, they're like, well, this video did great, and this video didn't do anything, and then I couldn't get any numbers for a month. And it's like, yeah, that's just, first of all, you're up against an algorithm that the platform has no interest in turning you into a star. And then also, because then you would leave, you would have that, there would be that weird power imbalance. They don't want to give up that power. And then also, you're competing with every single other piece of media out that day. So it's like if there's been a school shooting, your jokey video is competing for eyeballs with that school shooting. It's not like it's on the same channel for everybody. Mm-hmm. So it's a very, very weird medium in general.
It is, and it's so fickle. Like trends come and trends go. Like the one that immediately pops into my mind is like on TikTok, there are a bunch of creators whose music is or whose creative work is focused around music.
Sure.
When that UMG deal changed and TikTok lost the rights to a ton of music, like their platform just gets completely undermined all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I think
it is. I mean, it is fickle. It is fickle. It's funny because, like, even with comments and things like that, like I don't pay a lot of attention. My general rule is that the lovely comments I appreciate. The constructive criticism comments I will take under advisement if they're productive. But the negative comments, like from strangers on the internet that just don't, it's irrelevant to me. I'm very much like Steve. I put out things that are interesting to me. I am who I am. I think, people who know me in real life are like, yeah, she's like that. And people like it or people don't like it. For me, at least, at the end of the day, it's entertainment. It's educational. I don't have any aspirations per se, but it's fun. And it's giving a voice to a lot of people that I don't know that they have a voice or they found their voice. That's kind of my goal. And everybody's goals are different, but that's my goal.
So, Lisa, what made you pick up the phone and start recording? Like, because TikTok, like, it really is just you pick it up and decide one day I'm making one. So what made it happen?
So anybody that knows me, like, that's the infamous fruit bowl that I put my camera on when everybody thinks I'm under my bed. It's filled with bananas today. How appropriate. I don't know. I think, when you go on to TikTok, obviously for the first time, those people who may or may not be on it, you can kind of pick your interests, right? And so my interest, obviously, it was during COVID, were more political type stuff, Canada and things like that. And as I would scroll through and I would see other people talking about things that I was like, yeah, this is interesting. Let's talk about COVID numbers, whatever it was at the time. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm in Alberta, so we had a lot of stuff happening in Alberta at that point in time. And I don't know. I just was kind of like, nuh-uh, Jason Kenney, no. This is what I'm going to point out. So, and that's just how it evolved. And then I saw people like you, Steve, and I saw people, he who shall remain nameless, that we both love in Calgary. And that just kind of guided me, I guess, or inspired me to be like, hey, there are other like-minded people like me. So let's all talk about the same thing. And somehow we just seem to have connected. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you guys,
how about you? You started in the Vine days. I started
in the Vine days.
That's the Wild West.
It was the Wild West for sure, because this was like back in 2013, and I mean the story which I've told a lot is basically that, and it's true, is that our business had collapsed, so the man took a hit basically, and we ended up getting hacked. I know, exactly. Feel for the man, and. Our business got hacked. We had to let go all 11 employees, including my mother, who was a receptionist, essentially, administration, which was really horrible.
Very tense Thanksgiving.
Exactly. I mean, to be fair, she should have been performance reviewed months before that and let go.
I mean, hosting it on the yacht was in poor taste.
That was probably harsher, exactly, to swallow. But anyway, so all that to say, we went through this like massively long period of like about 8 years of really, really dire fiscal straits, like no money, borrowing money to pay the mortgage, all that kind of stuff, like really, really rough, and eating lentils practically every meal, only because they were the cheapest thing we could find. So it was like every possible way you could eat lentils, we were eating lentils that way. And it was we had the notice on the door of our house, the whole bit, and it was really a case of, for me, I Vine had come out, and I was like, well, I'm interested in, I'm enjoying watching these Vine videos. They're quick, they're snappy, they're funny. They're like, it's going through the comics section on the old Saturday newspaper. It's like, this is cool, I like this, or Far Side comics or that, and it was a way for, I thought, well, maybe I'll do some of these. Maybe that'll make me happy. And it did. And I really enjoyed it. And then I would do stuff. And I remember going down to the pub. I used to do, because Shannon was out working at the time. The boys, our kids were in school, obviously. And I'd be at home, like trying to scrape together like web development jobs and stuff like that if I could. And in between, I would make these videos. And it would be ridiculous for me to have like just videos of a grown man on his own. So I would make them with this 12-inch plastic Chewbacca doll I've had since I was 10. I'd be like, this will be better. Made these videos, but exactly, it's much more respectable. This is crazy. There's a grown man making, oh no, he's got a Chewbacca doll. It's fine.
Problem solved.
Exactly. But I remember going down to the pub, and the bartender said, I love the Chewie video. That was so funny. When's the next one coming? And I was like, oh, maybe there's something here. It doesn't cost me anything to make these, and people enjoy them. And we had no idea what to do. We ended up having a viral video in August of 2013, got hired by Disney, and it was like, oh, you can make money doing this. Like, this, you can make a living. I can pay my bills. Like, we could travel, spend time with the kids, and not lose our home. This is a good deal. And that was, interestingly, that was kind of like how I got into it. And as far as I was concerned, I'd hit the jackpot. There's lots of other peers of ours at the time who were getting into it, like, I want to be an actor. And this is why I'm doing social media. And it's like, I have no desire to be an actor whatsoever. I do want people to know what I look like, though. And I need that recognition, but I don't want to be an actor.
The sash. It needs the sash.
It's the sash, exactly. That was a very long story, but this basically was. People ask me often, like, when should I quit my job? And I was like, I think it's easier if you just wait for your business to collapse and you have no choice.
Yeah,
That's
wait
the
till you
best.
have no other option. Burn the boats behind you.
Burn the boats behind you, and that'll be your sign that it's time to try something like this. Yeah, exactly.
See, I sort of like stumbled into it. I was in this very room, in this very desk, actually.
You're like, I've got the neon sign. What do I do now?
So my wife and I, we don't do New Year's resolutions. We do themes where we try to like work our year around a given theme that we're trying to focus on for that year. And in 2022, I decided my theme was going to be creativity. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really know what that was going to look like. And 2 weeks later, I was sitting down here and working on report cards and really didn't want to. And I was endlessly frustrated with the Saskatchewan government for
Right. But they can't fire you, so you're fine.
Well, so this is the thing. Because I'm unionized.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Because I'm unionized, we're aces. And
See last week's show.
So here's where it gets funny is I literally had the mindset of like, I just want to play with the tool. I just want to see what it's like. Kick the tires. I am going to intentionally cover a boring niche topic. Yeah. I just was going to talk about the resignation of the head of the Sask Health Authority. Like, not an interesting topic. I had 0 followers, nothing. Posted this video and it did 70,000 views.
My God.
And I had 3,500 followers the next morning when I woke up. And it was literally like,
amazing.
Oh, this is a thing I do now, I guess. Like, I don't know what this is, but it's my thing now. And I've literally just been sprinting to try to keep out in front of it ever since. But it was like, literally just one day I was frustrated. And ever since then, it's like, been a snowball rolling down a hill.
I have this theory about social media content creation and what goes viral, what people connect to the most, what they engage with the most. And I call it the low-level spectacle. And it's basically someone doing something that you as a viewer could probably do if you could be arsed, if you actually put in the effort. Yeah. But you're like, I don't want to. But that's usually more impressive than something that's high budget and it's lots of production value and stuff. That stuff happens all the time on TV and doesn't cost you anything because you're already paying for it. It doesn't matter. So you're not really impressed with it, or it takes an awful lot to be impressed.
Hence the fruit bowl. That's
yeah. That's
my
your
videographer right there. Yeah,
your low-level spectacle is a fruit bowl.
Like my videos have always been like when I roll out of bed and just start recording on a couch. Like there's not a lot of production value to be found. Yeah. Although I can tell the origin story of the toque now. I can share the toque.
Oh yes,
origin.
please, yeah. Exactly.
So this is a complex, multi-layered narrative. So on TikTok, if you're familiar with my TikTok content, I speak in front of a green screen fairly regularly. And green screens on mobile phones are not always the greatest when it comes to hair.
Oh, yeah.
And so it gave me these awful, like, fuzzy edges to my head, and I couldn't get it right. And I literally looked around, and there was an old STF toque that was like swag from some STF event. And I was like, I probably shouldn't have the logo on it. So if you go back, it's actually backwards.
Yeah.
And I threw it on because I was like, I guess I should probably, this'll work. And I don't wear a toque really anywhere else. Like I don't wear a toque out and about.
Yes,
and
you do.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I totally do. That's a thing. Sorry. Yes, absolutely. And now, so literally all that happens is if I ever do a video without a toque on, the collective freak out of the internet is unbelievably funny. Like, this person terrifies them. For those watching at home, I just unleashed the mane.
Not the mane.
I've mixed it out, but there was a whoosh sound when he pulled his toque off.
There was also a bunch of rotoscope effects, like an old He-Man.
Yeah, it was like a Michael Bay thing. The camera somehow spun around him in slow motion. It was quite dramatic. Pretty crazy.
It was like a John Woo movie. Doves flew.
I find both of you guys, what's interesting for me is that you guys have like real iconic voices, I think. Meaning just your style of speaking, the timbre of your voice is really unique and iconic to me. And that's what's kind of kept me coming back. And it's funny because we started this podcast series and we were doing the first recording. Shannon, my wife, had said to say to you, she listens to your voices every day because she sits across from me in the living room as I'm watching them, and she will listen in like they're like mini podcasts basically. But she knows who you are based on that voice. And she's like, "Oh, I like them. No, I like them. I like them." Which is
Hi,
really cool.
Shannon.
Hi,
There you
Shannon.
Let's don't suck up to her. There's no need. Tell her to get an account and watch her own videos. She doesn't have to just listen to mine. Which is
So
also,
do I have you saying Alberta Premier Danielle Smith in my voice in your head is the question.
Yes.
Oh,
Alberta
God.
Premier Danielle Smith.
Danielle Smith. Yeah.
Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe.
I think it's your pacing. It's your pacing.
It's very
Yeah.
distinctive.
Danielle Smith, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith. There.
It's because there's a dose of withering contempt every time.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, and I
There's a
just
little
call her
bit of-
Danny. I feel like we're on that level that I can just call her Danny.
No,
I think
it's,
that
it's
works
all of the first syllables high, and then you drop on the last one. Like if I was to be like podcast legend Brittlestar.
Yeah, you come down. You're like, but it's like you're sashaying down about 2 stairs, maybe like.
It's because I just need to bust out that haunting baritone.
Well, do you think you have a baritone voice?
I've been told I have a lyric baritone. The voice people in the chat or in the replies can come through and let me know. But
Okay,
I've been told that I'm annoying, so I don't. Depends what comments I read, but yeah.
oh man,
So-
don't read the comments. Do you read the comments?
Sometimes I read the comments. I try not to read the comments on X or whatever the hell that is. That I don't care about. I'll sometimes read the comments on TikTok only because I like to see if people are going after people in my comments, in which case I'll just delete them because I don't think that's cool.
Right.
You can come after
Yeah.
me. I don't have a problem with that. But some of them are just like, it's just repetitive. Like, oh, she's so nasal. Fucking rights, I'm nasal. I live in Alberta. Like, what do you want? Everything is an excuse, but I live in Alberta. So you're going to get what you're going to get. But yeah, I pay no mind.
My favorite ever was I used to get all of the like, you're such a low T beta soy boy. and then I posted a TikTok that shared my history as a competitive power lifter. Like I went to Western Canadians and like I was super heavy into it for a while and some photos and stuff. And so now it's flipped to, oh, watch out, he's got roid rage. It's like,
wow.
You guys really just want something to be mad at, huh?
I do love the people
I
that
think
do
it's funny.
the people that comment things like low T soy boy and stuff. It's like, wait a minute, you're the person commenting on the video. Like, I made it. What have you done? Nothing.
You're such a beta. It's like you are replying to me.
You're literally by definition
In your blank
beta
profile.
to this relationship.
Yeah. I get
I
the,
find it
oh,
funny.
you're so woke, and of course you have purple hair. It's like,
Oh my
thanks,
God,
genius.
really?
Yeah, thanks.
I think, I mean, you must have it worse than Steve and I would think. I mean, I get lots of abuse and stuff like that, but I mean, I don't really care. Again, a massive ego. It takes quite a bit to knock me down. I think I'm pretty cool. The man. And
If you will.
if I will. But I mean, it's there's friends of mine, and I wrote about this in my book, Welcome to the Stupid Apocalypse. See, guys, you got to get your plugs in there. But I wrote about this, about how like friends of mine who are social media personalities who are women, they have to deal with so much more garbage that I have to deal with. Like I don't have to, like doesn't matter how much I asked, no one is sending me nude pictures of themselves. It's not happening. It's just not happening. And certainly not
I'm the same
unsolicited.
way. My experience has been very broadly positive, and I don't think that's universal.
No.
Oh, no. I think that would be a good topic for another show, but because I think it expands to like social media and politics and like the difference of what that looks like for different people. But I've come to realize that like in my DMs in TikTok, there's a special DM section where it just gets filtered. I didn't even know that was there. I get a lot of, hey, I'd like you to be my sugar baby.
Ooh.
Hey,
Sugar baby.
no. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. They want to give me, I think it's $5,000 a month. Like all of them. Like any of the ones, it's like $5,000 a month.
And you're like, that's not
no,
sugar.
it's-
That's stevia. That's stevia money.
right. You can't afford me. No, I think it is a little bit different. I get a lot of critiques, and like I said, it's a lot of ad hominem, like personal attack
Sure.
stuff, which I think is just
Yeah.
base level commentary. But I'd be interested to like do a comparison, and like I said, maybe that's a topic for another show. But
Yeah, I mean,
you can't let it bother you.
Well, and that's
No,
it.
I
I always ask myself the go-to question, which is, do I care what this person thinks? And like in some situations, they're coming in good faith, and I disagree with them. And in that case, yeah, I care what they think, right? Because what they think is they got there somehow, and let's unpack that and talk about it, whatever. It's the people, like, if somebody is willing to come into a stranger's comment sections and insult their appearance or make gross allegations or whatever, do I care what they think? No.
no.
Like, what's their opinion worth to me?
Yeah, I always
Like, if I
compare it
found
to-
out that Uncle Ron was spending his free time in TikTok comment sections being awful,
yeah,
I'm not likely going to take a lot of feedback from him.
no. I always compared to being in a crowded bar and walking to from the bathrooms back to your seat or wherever, and somebody makes comments, says something as you pass by, or says something stupid in general as you walk by, and you're like, well, I'm not going to stop and engage. What do you mean by you think my hair looks funny? You don't like my pants? My shoes are stupid. Like, what? Why would I possibly care about that? That doesn't matter to me at all. And it goes back to, there's a guy, I believe his name's Scott Stratton, who is unmarketing. And I remember him and I had a conversation one time, and he said, comments don't matter. And I thought, oh, that's a bit brutal. I mean, the truth of the matter is when it comes to the algorithm and engagement, comments do matter quite a lot. If you turn comments off on posts on X/Twitter or Instagram or something, your reach plummets, which is really, really frustrating. But at the same time, it's just the way it is. But he was like, they don't matter. They don't add anything to your content, because it's never constructive, and the nice comments are nice, and there's the rest of them are garbage. And I think as a content creator, when you're putting yourself out there, as much as I say I have a big ego, I remember the first time going through comments on Vine and stuff, and going glowing comment, lovely comment, happy comment, joyful comment, and you'd go through like 50 of those, and there'd be one horrible pointed comment. You'd be like, you'd be deflated entirely. And you're like, wait a minute, why? It's because I've opened myself up to receiving the good stuff, and now I'm just open. I'm just generally open, and I don't need to be open. I think that's as you said, Lisa, like, lovely comments are lovely, but to me, the rest, generally, it's just like it's like watching Netflix and watching The Office on Netflix, and then somebody from Idaho commenting what they thought about that episode. It's like, I don't care what you thought. I don't care if you loved it. I don't care if you hated it. I don't care if you noticed that Pam's blouse was stupid. It doesn't matter. Get out of here.
You're right, but at the same time, like, I reply to comments a lot.
Do you really?
And so to me, that is a lot of like, I when I create stuff, I respond to inputs, and that's a lot of the input that I get. And so even if they're wrong, even if they're being a jerk, sometimes I'll try to look for the underlying belief behind that, or the underlying assumption, and talk past the jerk to the belief behind it. Because the fact is, even though that person is a jerk, there's probably other people listening who share that belief to some degree, right?
Yeah.
Like, if it's that, like, oh, lazy people on welfare or whatever, the wrongness and the rudeness has a belief underlying it. And when that is the case, then I'll go and address that belief. Or if there's no belief underlying it, I'll just make a video where I'm like, I don't know, flipping pancakes and laughing at them. But
do you
I
think
love
that
the
it's-
comment.
do?
I love the
there's
comment.
always a grain of something.
Yeah, I do. I think the comments are not for an ego thing. Like, that's I don't want to read how many people love me. But I think
I
they're
do.
important because I know, well, there you go. I think it's an outlet for a lot of people. There's a lot of people who maybe don't make videos or don't put their opinions out there publicly. And it's interesting to kind of watch in the comments if someone says something that's a little bit jerky, that people who appreciate what you're saying will come and like they will have this little debate back and forth.
Sure.
But sometimes I think it's like an outlet for people who just don't want to do videos or don't feel that they can, to be able to express their opinions, support the people that they appreciate. So I would never block comments on any of my videos. But like I said, if I can and I see something that's, you know, abusive in nature, then I will just get rid of it.
Yeah, I'll let them spin their tires, but as soon as it pivots to like racism, transphobia, then it's a pretty quick block.
I think because like the bulk of my engagement happens on Twitter, for better or worse, is there's like, there's so many stupid comments and accounts that are just contrarian and are combative and argumentative, and they're agitators is all they are. They're just, that's all they're trying to do is stirring up engagement for themselves.
Farming.
Yeah, exactly. And I just have, I think I think it's been largely fruitful, actually, in the sense that I've stopped engaging for the most part. I would say I respond to less than 5% of the comments that I get. And those are usually nice comments or questions or something, or someone says this made a big difference in my day or something. It's like that stuff. Sure. I know, I kind of get a feeling where you're coming from, and I'm actually happy that I'm able to do that. That's really great for me, and I'm very grateful for it. But I think that in general, like there's so much garbage stuff that's out there. It's like, it's not worth listening to. It's not worth reading. It's not worth engaging with. It's not worth giving the time of day. And it's also like, I feel like sometimes I'm creating something and putting it on a stage, and then I'm not just going to hand you the microphone. You know, I'm not going to say, listen to everyone, come to my show. I worked really hard on this. Enjoy it. That's great. Here's my microphone. Tell everyone what you think. It's like, I don't care. Yeah. Get out of here. It's too late. Very rarely have I had comments that have been constructive. I had the only one that stands out ever was a guy commented, and he said, your background music is too loud. Notch out 200 kilohertz in the EQ, and that'll open up the space for your voice. And I was like, huh. I checked it. I was like, God, he's right. Damn it. So I thanked him.
Honest to God,
man, this is amazing.
Those are the comments that get under my skin. The ones that are correct. You're just like, oh, he's like, your sound's wrong here. I know.
I know it is.
Like, I tried to fix it. I was hoping no one would notice. Yeah, accurate rude comments are the worst. But the one that I wanted to ask you folks about was, what is your opinion about the YouTube method, which I'm a little prone to overusing it, I'll admit, which is hiding the user from your channel. They can still watch, they can still interact, they can spin their tires freely as they like and comment as they please. No one but them will ever see it.
I love that so much. It seems so dastardly. It's like psychological warfare, isn't it?
It feels a little censorship-y, but at the same time, it is viscerally satisfying to know that they're just absolutely going bananas in comments that no one will ever see but them.
I've said it before, like, my page is not a democracy. It is a dictatorship.
No.
I get to say what, right? Like that. And I appreciate there's different things you can do, like on a TikTok. You know, I guess it depends on the platform that I will engage in every once in a while, because I think it's funny. Because I know they're on the other end of their phone going, ah! Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. When I put stuff out there, it's like the 10 minutes it takes me to record, whatever it took me to maybe, do my research. I put it out there and then I walk away. And, we go to work, we deal with family, we do whatever we deal with. For a lot of people that are receiving that on the other end, and I've learned this through, some of the comments that people have made. There are a lot of people, who still, even though the pandemic's over, are immunocompromised and spend a lot of time at home. For them, that's real life, right? And so they're engaging with things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to engage in the real world. Our videos are, whatever becomes their world, because that's what they have access to. And so I'm never going to shut that down from some people. I'm never going to, engage in that banter back and forth. But I have an appreciation that because of this world of social media, it's really opened up worlds for people who can't maybe leave the house as easily as we can. So I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot in the last 3 years on social media, for sure.
The person who immediately pops into my head, I don't know if I should name him or not. He'll know exactly who it is. There's this person who has been in my comments section since I started in 2022, daily, saying things that I frequently disagree with, and more than once poking his head up and getting dunked on to oblivion by the rest of the comment section. And he's there every day, and he's been getting less wrong and closer to the real problems over the course of those 2 years. And if I had blocked him 2 years ago, none of that would have happened. And this guy, like, he acknowledges it too. He's quite proud of it.
Right.
Has gone through this process of unpacking his own thinking. And if I had said, "You're out of here," on day one, which I was tempted to more than once, like he was pushing his limits, none of that would have happened. And that has a lot of worth. And so I'm always a little reticent on blocking, but also if somebody's a jerk, sometimes they gotta go.
Yeah, I generally don't block people at all because I feel for some people, I think it gives them a sense of victory. Like, I think there's a lot especially for the people who don't enjoy me that much. They are trying to piss me off, basically. And then when I block them, they go, "Ha! Look at this, I won." Much like when people post like "so and so blocked me" or whatever, and so that is what it is for different reasons. But I think for me, it's like I'm not going to give them the satisfaction. You can say whatever you want to me, man. I don't care. But I think it's important to remember that the genuine comments of people who are this is their community. This is how they engage with the world, who are getting better and learning and progressing. I mean, I love to think that was the majority of people in comments. I don't think it's remotely the majority. I think it's a tiny fraction of the people who are there. And the rest of them are just kind of, digital farts, basically. They're just nothing. They're just kind of, comments of people watching a TV show and saying, "I love this," or "I hate this," or whatever. I know that when our youngest was doing social media, when he was like about 11 or 12, he did a video, and a guy who was quite popular on Vine reshared his video. And the video, I think it was, he'd correct me if I was wrong, I'm sure he will, but it was covered by BuzzFeed in an article called Why White People Can't Do the Whip, which is a dance. And but his whole his name's Gregor Reynolds. So Gregor's whole thing was, I'm going to do this Vine joke where I'm the horrible white kid trying to do the whip, and it was like really gawky and really goofy and stuff. And anyway, it was on like the front page of BuzzFeed, and it was one of their articles he did and stuff. They got a lot of notoriety out of it. But this guy shared the video for the express purpose of he had left a horrible comment at the top of Gregor's video, shared it on his own channel. So then Gregor woke up. He got lots of positive feedback about the video, and then woke up the next morning with just under 500 horrible hate comments, like death threats, "You should die, you should blah, blah, blah," all this kind of stuff. And I remember we had to we had talked about comments at that point as like, parents to kids, and the fact that we're kind of, it's the David Lee Roth quote that I always use from 1992, where he said, "If you stick your head above the crowd, somebody's bound to throw a rock at it." It's like, it just comes with the territory. And knowing that, I would say to Gregor at the time, and say to our other son as well, Owen, I would be like, for some people, this is the brightest moment of their day. This is it. The rest of their life might be horrendous. This one lash out might be the only power they feel that entire day. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't mean you have to listen to it. That doesn't mean you have to accept it, but it does mean it's not even about you. It's just those negative comments aren't even really about you at all, except for the guy with the EQ tip. That was about it. That was about me.
Yeah, that was when they're really pointed,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The one that kills me is how, I don't know. I just find there's a underlying meanness, but there's also, and I don't know where this comes from, an underlying repetitiveness to it.
Oh,
Have
sure.
you found
Yeah.
this too? The rude comments, it's weird because it almost feels like there's this club, this in group, this group of people who feel like they share this common language of jerkdom. And I have no idea, like, do they have meetings where they're just like, I'm going to call him a cuck this week? Like, how does this work? Like, did they all convene and we're like, yeah, we're now, soy is an insult, even though it's a bean.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a Discord somewhere where they're like, okay, this is what we're going to put on every single comment or every single video.
Yeah.
But then it makes me think that's all they got. Like, that's all they got. They can't come up with anything more creative than the standard
It's
whatever
some
it is of the week.
thin, cruel.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
dunking on comments every now and then. It's just like, you guys, you're boring. Be interesting. Like, I teach middle school. I get roasted in ways you can't imagine. Like, if you're not going to come to me with something original, I'm just going to yawn and shrug and walk away.
There was
I
one
think
kid.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, thank you.
Dude.
Finally.
No, you go.
No. I was just going to say there was one kid who would leave like mean comments on my videos and stuff. And eventually I went to his profile and I was like, he's doing his own videos. And I was like, I responded back and I said, why are you wasting your time making mean comments on my video? Just work on your own videos. You're doing great. And so he actually did, but he was like one person out of over 10 years of doing this has actually done that. But it's exactly that idea of people yelling. It's like buying a ticket to see a movie and yelling at the screen. It's like, it's too late, buddy. You're like the power dynamic is already set. You know, I made this. You're commenting on this thing that I've made. You have made nothing. And it's a good thing to remember as a content creator, I think.
So,
I think too, like, I don't want to take away the importance of like the negative aspect of what can happen when you open yourself up on social media. And I think,
Sure.
you know, this is going to sound silly, the first death threat, the first whatever you get, right? Like, because it happens.
Oh, and
Absolutely.
the fact that it's such an ordinary thing is just the worst.
Right. And you get it the first time. And, you know, we have, you know, friends on TikTok and we've seen how it's been impactful in different ways. It's like, it does. The first time you get it, you're like, holy shit. Like, I don't know you. And you really have to take a step back. I mean, I think it takes a special type of person. And not that I think, you know, Steve or I are special, or used to, but.
I was a last minute throw in there.
Sorry. Well, you're in the corner.
As the man, we do feel he is
I'm
quite
not trying to say that me and Steve are special, but you as well, I guess. And
Jazz hands.
us special ones over here.
Right. Us special ones over here. No, but like it takes a certain person to be able to do videos or put content out, regardless of the platform, every day, and open yourself up and legitimately be able to say, I can't let it impact me, good or bad.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
I don't want to discredit the good comments because I so appreciate them. Like sometimes you're just having a crap day and somebody says something just so nice. And it's like I appreciate that kind of stuff so much.
Yeah.
But you know, people are there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and you know, the rage and anger that people have, and they feel they have to take it out on you because you're the face that's saying the things that they don't believe in. Like, okay, like I'll be that punching bag for you.
Right.
And again, I don't care if you're coming at me. But if you're making comments that are anti-human rights, you're getting punted, right? If you're attacking somebody in my comments that's just trying to whatever, you may get punted for a little bit. I may just block you for a little bit. I may bring you back at some point. But I think everybody needs a timeout. But I know that there are people that we know and that have been negatively impacted by that commentary and that feedback, and that openness that we have sometimes gets taken advantage of in various ways. So I think it's important
so
to put
rough.
that boundary.
I mean, because you really are putting yourself out there, and it's like you're putting yourself out everywhere. In the same argument as earlier saying, when you're creating content, you're competing with every single other piece of content out in the world that day, that minute. And in that same way, you're putting yourself on the same screen as movie stars, TV celebrities, newscasters, world leaders. You're all fit in the same screen when someone's looking at your videos in the bathroom. You know what I mean? It's all exactly the same. So it's a big jump. And maybe I think special, by that you mean probably, I don't know, egomaniacal or sociopathic, one of the two.
This is honestly like I think an elephant in the room that we're all pretty evasive of as content creators, but I genuinely do think there has to be a certain underlying degree of ego to think that you are worthy of picking up the phone and recording yourself and putting it into the world.
Yeah.
And if that
right.
ego is fragile,
the three of us are right.
Yes, us three people on camera are very insightful.
Exactly.
But like at the end of the day, I think that part of it though is if that ego is secure, you're all right. It's when another person can tell you who you are or what you're about. If you aren't rock solid in who that is, then the armor starts to break down very quickly. Now, that isn't to blame people who have struggled with it. Like, my experience is not indicative. But I think that's a lot of the armor that we have against it is just that person can't tell me jack about who I am. Because what do they know?
Yeah. Or what you put out. I mean, I think Steve and I probably get a lot of comparisons and we get a lot of videos shared amongst each other. It'd be like, oh, Steve said this. And I'm like, I don't give a shit what Steve said. Like, whatever. Steve can do whatever Steve does.
Yeah. I think a lot of people feel that way. Yeah.
Right? Especially in this room.
In this particular
but we all have,
podcast.
Yeah, in this particular moment. We all have slightly different takes on things, and that's okay. We're not all copycats of each other.
Yeah.
We present things differently. We may have difference of opinions, the man. So like, but people gravitate to it and, they may follow me. They may follow Steve. Steve and I have one of our followers that comments positive things. You did a video on it the other day, Steve.
Is that the When I Grow Up? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this magnificent fella shows up in the comments. So I make 12 videos a day, every day. He shows up in the comments of every single one saying, when I grow up, I want to, and then comes up with something situationally appropriate. Every single time. And like, those jokes that start out funny, turn annoying, and then boomerang to super funny.
Back. Yeah.
Like it went through that phase. Because, like, there was a minute where I was, like, slightly tempted to tell him to knock it off. And I'm like, nah, I'm just going to let it play out.
Let it run.
And it just gets funnier.
At the beginning, I was like, is he making fun of me? Are you making fun of me, dude? But then I was like, no, he's insightful. And he's pointing it out, like, the key point of the video. Bless you. If you're listening, thank you so much because it's entertaining.
But I think that's something interesting is you do develop these funny relationships with people who consume your content, regular commenters. And like, for me, I stream on Twitch and you spend a lot of time with followers and communicate with them back and forth quite a bit. And so the relationship, like, it gets good and parasocial out there. But
for sure.
Like it's there's a two-wayness to it. Like I don't know. It's very sociable feeling to some degree. Like you feel like these people are your friends in some sense.
I think it's like we're cult leaders. Is basically it's like the nicest cult leaders you could ever hope to get.
You can't say that in Alberta because we have actual cult leaders here. But
that's true. Sorry.
Yeah. It's
does not
we
apply.
Talked about it, it does not apply to this. But we talked about it in the first show about the sense of responsibility. Like I really do kind of mama bear. I feel like I'm a bit of a mama bear for a lot of the people that I've come to know in the comments, certainly. But at the end of the day, and this is ego or not, it's probably ego. I will always make the content that I want to make for me. Yeah. And if people resonate with that, come on board. And if you don't, fuck all the way off. Right? So,
yeah.
Well, and that's it. As soon as you start making your content for somebody else's wants, you're in trouble.
No.
I got invited down by YouTube. This is in 2016, I think. To listen, maybe someday you guys will be special like I am.
Hey, I'm medium in Australia, I'll have you know.
We're getting invited down to YouTube to YouTube Space LA, and they were having this like 3-day thing where they were just going to talk about, you know, crafting content, what's going to work on YouTube, blah blah blah. Because it was really great. I was really flattered to be involved, and went down there, and the guy who was in charge of content and creator partnerships at the time, who was a very nice guy, very smart guy, very successful content creator himself now, like tremendously successful. And he said to me, I was doing a series at the time called World's Most. And it was a series of videos. I thought, well, I'll just do like cool facts about world's most expensive treehouse, like just bizarre things, just silly things. Mm-hmm. And it was getting like 700 views per episode. I was like, well, this is not sustainable. It just wasn't really growing. It wasn't really picking up. But he came over and he's like, I love your World's Most series. I was like, God, maybe I'm onto something. Maybe I've just been held back by the system, by the man. And
by the man.
The man who you were literally talking to in that moment.
Exactly. Like maybe that's the problem. He goes, I really love the series. I was like, oh, thank you so much, because I love this episode. I was like, wow, he's really actually watched this stuff. It's really cool. And then he said, I think what would be great for you is if you did more of like looked at what's trending and then just did more videos like what's trending. That'd be great. Like right now, slime and foam slime is really trending. You could do something with that. And I was like, what? No. Like my goal isn't and has never been, even though I love getting good numbers, I like creating stuff that gets good numbers. My goal is not to just create what's getting numbers in a slightly different voice to get numbers. It's about creating something that I want to create and hoping it resonates with enough people that it gets numbers. But yeah, it was
the
just
numbers
so bizarre.
are affirming, but if they're the goal, you're in trouble, right? Like,
yes. I mean, yes. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, for like, you know, on a platform like TikTok, what do numbers get us?
Whole lot of nothing.
Except on this podcast. No,
So
but like, you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, we're not
For
monetizing.
lovely people online who don't know, TikTok Canada does not pay creators.
No creator funds.
I
Zero.
put up somewhere in the neighborhood of about 250,000 views a day and have made, I think, $40 total ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
I think that's actually a good myth to dispel, is the myth of monetization. Because even on YouTube, you can get millions and millions of views and you're not making big money yet. You've got to make like tens to hundreds of millions of views all the time to get money.
I would say it's the consistency. It's the churn. You got to have stuff going constantly.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why, though, like what we do, it's a labor of love. Like I just do it because I feel like I need to. That's about it, right? So
I wake up at 5 a.m. to record every morning, and it's like the only thing that gets you out of bed to do that for no money is because you believe in it, because you care about it, because you want to do it.
Care about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it matters.
Well, that was a beautiful ending to this podcast episode, wasn't it? It was nice, wasn't it? So thanks so much for listening. We really appreciate it. And the man approves, exactly. And I'm sure next week's episode, who knows where we'll be? We could be anywhere.
Right.
It could be, maybe we're going on tour in Australia. Maybe our 4th episode is the live show from Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Celebrate breaking into the
that's
top
where the market's
115.
at. You go where your people are.
That's exactly. They want to hear about Canadian
Go where
politics.
the people want to see you.
Yeah, they love that kind of stuff. We're going to finish the show, of course, as we always do, with an improvised theme song. Who's doing what this time?
I'm going to grab my ukulele.
Get on it. Let's go.
Let's just see exactly. Lisa's right. Let's chop.
People always comment on my TikTok videos about my lip gloss.
No, you
so
didn't. You did. You can't do that. You can't do the whistle again.
What
Get out of here.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good.
All right.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Lisa, you're fine. That's good. I like that. Yeah. So the podcast is broken. Podcast is broken. You are listening to the podcast, and the podcast is broken. Podcast is broken.
Thanks, everybody.
Good.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
week.
everybody.
That was our best one yet.
Some of our best
no.
work.